right?
You got him moving things around.
I got him moving things
Nothing's
around.
in the right spot.
All right, editor Brandon, this is gonna go before all the stories happen, okay? Editor Brandon, I have to do this again because your cousin.
Oh my god!
One more clean one.
Clean cut. Editor Brandon, cut out the poopy little thing on the second one.
Editor Brandon,
He
cut
can-
that sound out. Put it next to when you did the see both sides. So
Because
add
he
that
can
in there.
see.
Yeah, Editor Brandon. Editor Brandon, cut this in. Cut this in. Look at what I can do. Now cut that in and put that at the beginning as the cold open.
Oh my god!
Tonight's stories.
Pregnant.
Rehome.
Friend group.
Grandma.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Comfort Level Podcast. I'm Maddie, and I'm here with
Brando.
Sam.
Joshua.
Josh. Josh is back in the
He's
building.
back.
Hercules.
Feels good to be back.
Good to have you back, my brother.
Hey, good to
My
be
brother.
back. Good to
I
see you.
always wanted a brother.
Hey, I always wanted a
Is
brother.
that what started you?
Josh said it first.
Oh, I
Said
did.
something about brother, and then I was like, brother.
Fire song.
Reminded me of Mufasa, the movie we just saw. Besides our Call of Duty obsession recently,
Yeah. So we can
we've
talk
all
about.
three of us have seen Mufasa in this room,
Yep.
and we're all wearing black.
And that's why you guys, I guess, decided to, while watching the movie, decided to wear black? Is that a part of the movie?
It actually
or-
just formed on our skin as we're like singing. like,
Yeah.
I always
I
wanted
wanted
a
a
brother.
that formed on you?
Yeah, I can't take it
Yeah.
off.
Okay, when I go, if that doesn't form on me, I know you're lying.
Well, everybody's different. I mean, Josh is different, but
Yeah.
That's true.
a black garment needs to form on you.
It already did. Oh, no, never mind.
On his
It's like on his side.
My skin.
He said, I always wanted a brother.
I think I am the brother.
Brother.
I might be the brother.
I might be the brother. It's crazy.
Actually, I did say I was cool with it that you guys were wearing black, but it actually is making me more mad the more I see it because it does seem like you're a group, and this is your podcast, and I'm the guest now, and
Well,
that's where I feel hurt because I feel.
You're still in the friend group though, like this next story.
Oh my gosh, you're starting early.
starting off strong.
Okay, I don't
right.
feel like it though.
Yeah.
I don't feel.
Well,
like
you're my cousin.
That's true.
I'm going to catch one
Cousins
today.
would have told each
Mm-hmm.
other.
I'm going to catch one.
Cousin would have let someone know.
What happened? It happened last time. There was an episode where you guys were in all black and I was in blue, a bright highlighter blue, and I was
The
like,
table.
Oh,
We were both in black.
that
All
was
black.
funny.
and I was like, oh my god.
But I like when other people are excluded, but not.
But not me. You're like, I hate when I'm excluded,
Actually-
but I can exclude others really easily.
You got black
A little bit. It's not.
on the words.
Y'all are blacked. I mean, hold up. Never mind.
That's a little racist.
Whoa. Wait.
Maddie,
Am I the brother?
the way this book is messing with me.
Already? I know. It's messing up my psyche, but in a good way.
Yeah, I'm reading a chapter a morning.
Mm-hmm.
4 agreements for anyone who doesn't know. This book is good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's making me think, literally, I'm at work thinking of, I'm talking to coworkers and I'm like, oh, I always would say this way. And why am I saying it this way? Why am I reacting this way? Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
So thanks for the recommendation, Maddie.
Okay, so we have a little bit of a variety show today, which is exciting. We got, okay, that's the first part of the we have a Sam show and cut to Sam.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. And go the other way. Reverse it. Hey, yo. I'm going to click a random button over here.
Oh. What? Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him.
Oh. 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 Oh.
Bring it home. Bring it home. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, bring it on.
Oh.
Hey, bring comfort back, man. Bring comfort back.
I didn't know if you had to press it to stop it, and so I accidentally pressed it to start it
One
again.
more time.
Oh, that's tight eyes right there. That's tight eyes.
Yeah.
Bring it home. Bring it home. So all these stories are from r/comfort level pod. And if you want to submit your story, go ahead and do that on r/comfort level pod, where we might react to it. But there's definitely a community of people there that can respond to it and give you advice on whatever you need to talk about. Am I overreacting after I found out my boyfriend's online friend group I became a part of 2 years ago has been just him the whole time?
Dang.
Oh, I didn't read this.
You saw that
Yeah, I
one?
did.
This sounds crazy.
Nah. Cause like that's a lot of work to put in for like the whole Discord friend group to just be you.
Mm-hmm.
That's some talent.
Is that love?
No.
Well,
It's a little
wondering.
concerning. I think.
yeah, a
concerning.
little bit.
I'm like,
Yeah.
dang, you put so much effort in.
That's
for me.
obsession.
Yeah.
That's not love.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I should have been less oblivious, but since a little before we started dating in 2022, I was added to my boyfriend's, just friends at the time, 3-person Instagram group chat with what he explained were some of his closest online friends. The 2 other accounts seemed like real people because they had real followers and comments on their posts and drastically different aesthetics and looks to them. We eventually made a Discord server for us, and that alone was convincing enough since multiple times we've all been active at the same time. We never voice chatted, but I used to never voice chat either, so I didn't think twice. The group got closer, though, as more and more time passed since I was first added to their group chat, and last month we got together and planned a research trip to Hawaii for August. We live on the East Coast of the US, like we booked everything. So imagine my surprise when I'm over at his house tonight and his computer is open and I just want to log into my Google Docs when I accidentally stumble across, first of all, follower bot sites, and also him logged in and chatting with me as one of the individuals I thought I had become close with, and just got this sinking feeling. I didn't jump to the idea that they could be fake either. I was like, maybe he just has these logins since they're all so close and is way too interested in these messages. But then I noticed their only chats were the group chats in the server, and the real kicker was the email added that it was signed up under was his backup email with his full name. I quite literally snooped until he got out of the shower and caught me, which I'm not saying was right of me, but I couldn't help myself. During my snooping, I gradually became devastatingly confident that he wasn't behind just one but both accounts. I've never seen his face so red, and he just absolutely panicked and started shouting at me to get out of his business. I couldn't even form the right words to say to him. In the end, I just walked out of his apartment sobbing. It's very early in the morning. I get that, but this screenshot is what he has to say, and I'm starting to feel crazy. Am I overreacting about my discovery? And then there's messages. Just a quick little message.
God.
Okay.
So this is OP to the boyfriend.
Do voices so we know.
Okay. I just want to know why. When it finally became time for the Hawaii trip, how were you going to explain that? What were you thinking? You know something I've noticed, but is that different enough?
No, it's almost exactly the same.
That's why I started laughing because I was like, she's not going to change
Look,
it.
can you do like a deeper one?
Yeah, but like, what am I going to do for
When
online?
you like make fun of your brother, you always do a voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let it fly.
You know something I've noticed about you? You can just never be calm, and there always has to be an issue. I know you were raised in a volatile environment, still have to relearn a lot of healthy relationship dynamics, but it's like you thrive on chaos only. And we were going to see Wicked tonight. I guess that goes there. You can't be serious. I deserve answers. I'm honestly so creeped out. Basically, half of my life for the past 2 years has been a complete and total lie, and you were behind all of it. Okay, don't be so dramatic. You know this isn't a big deal. You're just giddy to harp on this and make it a bigger issue. So those
2.5 years?
Yeah.
No, he's trying to gaslight
For the past 2
mess
years.
out of
Dang.
you. He's trying to gaslight
gaslighting
you.
is-
That's
Yeah, insane.
in real time.
Who wanted to see Wicked though?
I don't know, but apparently they're not going to do that anymore.
Oh, okay, right. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Gravity.
You feel me? Like you gonna miss out on that?
Can't miss out.
Well,
on
I
that.
mean, if someone's actively gaslighting you, I think that's something you can miss out on.
Right? Yeah. God,
He
dog.
just
like
wanted
when
to be
Glenda was trying to
popular.
gaslight. Yeah.
He wanted to be popular.
Really good movie.
Yes, great movie.
I'll never see it again, but really good movie.
That's what I thought too. And then I'm like, I kind of do want to see it again.
I just want to hear
Yeah,
some
like
of the songs.
20 more
again.
times.
It's funny
I love on
because
YouTube.
I knew Ariana's voice and I thought I would like her the most, but I really do love Cynthia's voice so much.
Yes.
She's incredible.
Yes.
I love because I wasn't
Man.
expecting like that type of voice and like tone to come out of Cynthia's mouth, but I was like,
I'm about to cry right now, man. I love that movie so much. I went to go see it 2 times in theaters, and every time at the end when she hits the note at the end of the movie, and then she flies away,
yes.
like literally, I'd like my eyes tear up, and it's just a whole experience.
This chick's defying gravity right now, dude.
Oh my god.
You know,
Well, even-
I saw on a podcast where they're like, let's earnestly do the ending
I love
run.
your reaction.
So they just each went one by one, earnestly tried to do the. And they all sang it one by one. It was the funniest thing ever because it's so hard to do. And for normal people to try to sing it is crazy.
Man.
Y'all missed that beautiful. Josh actually started crying. I was like, that's
The
so
tears are still
beautiful.
coming out a little bit.
Bro,
No,
it
like the
affected
ending
her.
is like really
I was
good.
like,
Like I like it a
he
lot.
said it
I
was
think
really
in
good, bro.
general, I'm so disappointed though that it's a part one.
No, they
Oh,
did you on
okay,
that.
I was
yeah.
They
so
straight
upset
did
that it was
you
a
on
part
that.
one because
Yeah.
I do want to see all of it because I do think it was really good and plus all the like underlying themes of like what the
Right.
movie's really about.
Wait, have y'all
I think
seen
it's
the
like
musical?
so timely.
Huh?
Have y'all seen the musical before?
No,
Oh,
You seen the musical
Yeah.
in person?
yeah.
Dang.
They came here like
people
last year.
give away spoilers
Yeah.
though, so on TikTok I know what's about to happen.
Yeah, it's very,
Yeah, me too.
It's pretty obvious.
But I knew because I'm like, this movie's so long, and that song in the play is the intermission. So it's like the whole
Oh.
intermission is it ends right there.
Yeah.
You would think that's the ending song, but no, it's just halfway in the
Dang.
play.
Okay, so any thoughts on the story?
Okay,
Oh,
right,
yeah.
yeah. Story.
Such a crazy story. We're just totally moving on.
Yeah.
Like,
No, the story is insane. Like, okay, I'll tell a story. When I was younger,
no.
I don't know how young I was, probably like middle school. We went on vacation and my cousin, I don't know, must have showed me like this girl that I thought was cute. So I was like, oh yeah, give me her number. Like, let me talk to her, whatever. I don't even know how he did this because I'm pretty sure I had his number already. But he basically gave me her number.
That is messed up.
And I was in like the little Airbnb bed. Well, not Airbnb, but wherever we were staying, twinkling my toes, texting this girl, like, you know, whatever. And I think it was like at the end of the night or something, he let me know it was him texting me instead of the girl. I was so embarrassed. I was like,
that's
what?
literally
That's
an
on
episode of
him.
Catfish.
That is on him.
There's that cousin who
Kelly
catfishes
Price.
because you fat Kelly Price.
Could you call me a fat Kelly Price?
Could you call me a fat Kelly Price? But they did that for like months, and I'm like, you hate this girl.
I feel like that
Dang.
one was years, no?
Yeah, it probably was years.
I think it was a year.
I don't understand people. Catfish, I don't understand people who were doing it for years. I'm like, you
You're a
have deep
horrible
mental
person.
problems
Right.
for
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
With this one, I'm thinking though, I'm like, what was the motive? Like, what was the drive behind? Okay, go
The
ahead.
bigger thing is,
Yeah.
what was his plan? They were going
To
to
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
He probably
Right,
panicked. She was
yeah.
like, we should all, she probably in the Discord, she's like, we should go on a trip. And one of them was like,
Yeah.
no. One was like, yeah, one was like, no. I
One
don't
was fighting
think
against
so.
it. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I gotta check
I'm
my
really
money.
busy
Shut
with
up,
work
Gerald.
right now.
Gerald's like, I really don't think we should go. And we're like, everyone's like, yeah. He's agreeing with her. He's like, yeah, we should go.
Man, if he was this committed and depending on how much money he had, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if he paid like strangers or maybe his friends, like his
Dude,
actual friends to
yes.
come on the trip. Well,
What if he doesn't have friends and that's why this started?
I think that's why it
He
started.
wanted to show her, like, oh yeah, I have friends, but he probably doesn't. And so it started off maybe, well, innocent as it can. And
Yeah.
then it just started to spiral. She's like, we should like talk to him more. He's like, okay, I'll start a Discord. Okay, I'll buy follower. I'll buy bots. Like fake activity.
he just kept on digging the
Yeah.
hole.
But that is something deeply concerning
Yes, for sure.
is the fact that maybe he did do it, like what you're saying, because he wanted to talk to her and add her to a friend group to see if maybe they could eventually be more than that.
Yeah.
And then it's like he has to continue it for however long But I feel like what you guys were saying, if they did go to Hawaii, I really think he would have just at the last second, they both would have somehow canceled or something.
Yeah.
And he would be like, I guess it's just us going. Because how do you do that?
That is so sick.
Yeah.
But actually, I would give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, maybe it was a situation where he was embarrassed he didn't have friends and it started out something innocent.
Yeah.
But then it completely turns when she confronts him, and that gaslighting is wild. That's such a crazy response to being caught in something. I'm like, okay, maybe you're not.
I think he knows it's like a weird thing. He got really defensive.
But I would have been like,
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed. Like, I would have came clean. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm embarrassed. He did not have that energy. He's like, you're making this a bigger deal. Like, you know it's a big deal. You know it's a big deal.
No one can
Man.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been mad emotional recently. I'm like, just thinking about that moment made me about to cry because I was just like having to like sit in that and be like, I'm so sorry, just whatever. I'm like, ooh,
Josh, do you need another hug, bro?
yeah.
They had the longest hug when Josh came in.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was a long hug. Hey, give him that hug, man.
It's okay, bro. We good.
Thank you.
That's when we need more black on black hugs.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going through emotional growth.
Wearing black on black too.
Wearing black on black is sick. It sickens me.
I was gonna say though, what if it was one of those things?
Yeah.
He's like doing like the loyalty test type
For
thing,
2 years.
but like,
Right.
Because he said one of them were getting close.
yeah,
He said,
He was like,
having that, I guess, is like a fail safe. Like, oh, if she does like slip up, and one of them catches,
Yeah.
then he's like, yeah.
I feel like this is one thing though where it's a little bit concerning of the fact that he obviously is living in a different reality a lot of the time.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
he has two different people that he's playing reality for, and he knows that in his head.
yeah.
And so at least like for a significant period of time, he's like playing other people. He's got a different version of what's going on. I don't know if he necessarily truly believes that those are his friends, but at the end of the day, if it's really like those two close friends and her, and he just is lonely, and so he created friends or whatever, I don't know. I think he definitely might need some help. And the fact that he was defensive is a problem.
Yeah.
Of being like, yeah, I was really lonely and I kept it up because once we were friends and then dating, it was kind of hard to stop, and I'm embarrassed about it, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I can also see how he is defensive because once you find out that your boyfriend's friends don't exist and they're him,
Yeah.
that's something that I'm sure he probably feels like he understands is a little abnormal,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's probably very defensive about that. And I don't know. I don't think she needs to stick around for him to figure out
Oh,
when he's
no.
okay with that.
No.
But I hope that eventually he does like get help and figure out like, it is, weird and go out and find different friends. But I also understand like with the whole like tech, like, what is it? Like being online, social media, it's a little bit harder to make friends in person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's why I do feel some sadness for him, because it literally does remind me of every Catfish episode. Almost everyone. There's very few Catfish ones where they're like, I wanted to mess with you. I wanted to make you hurt. Most of them were like, no, I'm lonely. I have low self-esteem. I don't know how to be the real me, so I fake this thing. And because they hurt other people, like Shrek said, hurt people hurt other people. It's
Shout out Shrek.
shout out
Shout out
Shrek.
Shrek.
Shout out Shrek.
It's like these people are hurting and they're just trying to make any connection, and they went about it the wrong way. And the people who were hurt by it, they don't need to stay along with the person.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
I do want these people to like, it sucks to feel lonely and feel like you have no one to talk to. And the only way you can talk to someone is to be someone that's not you.
Yeah.
So that's tough. I agree with Maddie. I'm like, OP, get out of this, because that is crazy. But OP's ex, hopefully, get some help, buddy, because
I hope the best for you.
Yeah,
and
really.
I don't think you're overreacting, OP, for thinking this is crazy.
Yeah.
And the way that he's reacting to it, like Sam was saying, like you guys were saying, the fact that he's trying to gaslight you and be like, that's not what it is. Like, stop like, no, that's a problem.
you always make a bigger deal. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, this is something to make a big deal
And
out of.
I just want to like, oh my God. Because could you imagine how horrifying that is? Like you have this whole sham going, and then you realize at a flip of a dime, everything you know is not real.
Yeah.
And the person that put you through it is trying to make it seem like you're over. I can't fathom that feeling. Like just everything you know has been a lie, and then the person switches, but it's also, at least from the tone of like the tech, like yelling at you, like what is wrong with you?
Yeah,
and it's like, oh my, like that's only things you would see in movies or TV shows. I could see Joe Gloomberg.
I don't know Joe's.
Goldberg. I couldn't think of it.
From you.
Yeah, I could see him
Bloomberg.
like doing that.
Yeah.
But just how horrifying that is to experience that firsthand. Like it's happening to you.
Yeah.
The fact that she was able to get out untouched and stuff, I'm really happy for her.
Yes, for sure. And I wonder how deep it got. Like, I'm like, okay, did she like try and confide in a friend because he messed up on something? And then he's like, oh no, you should forgive him.
Yeah.
he's the greatest guy
He's
in the
really
world,
good.
you know?
That's
like
my best friend.
Yeah.
So top comment, there's a certain level of mentally ill you have to be to create fake people to interact with your girlfriend for 2 years and see absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is not normal. You are not overreacting. This is actually a big deal and very scary. So, yeah. My grandma is ruining my mother's life and I don't know what to do.
Okay.
My grandma, 72 female, broke her ankle right before Thanksgiving. She cannot put any weight on it and can't for another month. My mom, 52, drove 12 hours up to help her as she had no one to help her out. She then drove back down and then back up after a few weeks to move her into our house for a few months. My dad, who can't stand her, and I have turned our house as accommodating as possible, installing rails on 3 steps, making a mini bedroom for her with my new mattress, etc. Now that she's here, she's made my mom's life hell. My mom is on break from teaching and now spends every hour making sure she is fed, has water, needs new socks, or is comfortable enough. She makes her special meals because she refuses to eat what we do, and I kind of get that, and won't leave her side. These are all things I would do for my mom if she was in the same place. My Nana, in return, says the most hurtful things and just seems ungrateful for what my mom and I do. She speaks about wanting to walk around, but when I say, let's try and use your walker more, she makes a fuss about it being the worst thing ever. She asks me to get a fruit bar because my mom's going to the store. She tells me at least someone takes care of me. She makes rude comments about my mom saying, oh, she'll take 5 hours. I know her. She's my child. And, oh, she's so lazy. I never would be. Tonight, after my dad, boyfriend, and I came home, I saw my mom and Nana talking in hushed voices. I heard a few words and something along the lines of, I just can't stand it here. I just can't. My mom said, I can take you home, Nana, and we can call you a nurse. And she said, oh no, then how are you going to help me? I know I didn't hear it all, but my mom ended up looking super upset, trying not to cry in front of my Nana. For context, my Nana holds things against my mom that she shouldn't, stuff she couldn't change about situations because she was literally fucking 10. And baby's my mom's brother, even though he's a deadbeat posh asshole that refuses to work a lower job, a professor. And no, brother is doing nothing to help. Only came down to see my grandma and then made my mom drive him 6 hours home because he had to trade his art. I see how this is hurting my mom, how awful it makes me and my dad feel when we can't change it. I want to tell my grandma it's hurtful to say these things, especially when my mom has lost sleep and holiday time for her. I feel awful, but I wish we just had left her up in the nursing home just when my mom wasn't dealing with this shit. This is a short version, and I can go into more detail if need be. I just need to know if I should speak to my Nana or let this all burn to the ground like it probably will. Any advice?
You need to speak to the mom. This makes me... This book is changing my life. It's making me look at situations. You can only feel the way you feel if you accept it on yourself. And so, and that's hard. That's like a hard thing to take in because that's like something that's going to my mind. Like, I feel like I'm a certain way because maybe people told me things or I just felt like people felt I was this way. And so I've taken on that. But I can't take it personal. And grandma's in a stage, like people say like, we basically we started as babies, turned into adults, and we return to babies when we get old. We just turn back into babies.
Yeah.
Grandma's gonna grandma. To me, grandma's gonna grandma. There's not really a reason to go up to her because I don't think you're really gonna have a really fruitful conversation of like, Grandma, you're doing this to your kids. She's that's 72 years of life that's shaped her into the woman she's gonna be.
Yeah.
But you can tell your mom, you don't need to take on what your mom's telling you. You're not lazy. You're not this. You're doing all this stuff for your mother.
Yeah.
Without help from your brother. And you're taking all this abuse. You're showing love. You're making sure she's fed. You're making sure she's okay. You are a good person. You are great. You don't have to accept what your mother's saying to you.
Yeah.
I know it feels like you can't say that because it's your mom, but like it is not your job to accept that and take that on as a person.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to the mom. I'm like, Mom, what do you need to do to feel good? And if that means we have to separate you from grandmother, then that's what we're going to do. If you think you can live through this and not take that on, let's keep taking care of her. But if you feel like you can't do that and this is something that's hindering you, you need to go back to the nursing home.
Yeah.
And you're not a bad person for doing that.
Right.
You're protecting who you are. You're protecting your world. You're protecting who you are as a person. And sometimes I don't think all parents are doing this, but some parents are like, well, I did all this for you, so you deserve it. And I'm like, I do owe you a lot. Like you're the reason why I'm in this world. And that's why I'll love you and I'll try to protect you. But if you're actively harming me, you gotta go.
God, hello, Sam.
I agree with that.
That boy, that came from a very healthy place.
I'm trying to get there, man. These books are crazy to me.
I needed that. Hey.
I need this book.
Yeah. No notes.
Okay.
No notes.
Clock it. God. Dog.
Well, because I agree with Sam, I'm just going to keep going.
Yes.
So, top comment, ugh, I'm so sorry this is happening. How much longer is she there? I'm petty and slightly vicious, so keep that in mind with what I'm about to say. First, talk to your mom. Let her know you see her and how her mom treats her, that you're so grateful that she doesn't treat you the same way, because no one deserves that from anyone. Ask her how you can help and tell her how you will support her and be there for her. Secondly, match your Nana's energy. When she makes a comment about your mom being lazy or not doing things right, make eye contact and ask her to explain why she feels that way. And don't back down. Make her say it. When she says mean things about your mom, say, "What a strange thing to say out loud about the person taking care of you for free," and then walk away. And if she says, "I would never speak to my elders like that," ask her why it's okay for her to talk to her child like she does then. Sweet as can be with a sting of truth. Worked with my mom when she was being a butthole, and now we have a much better relationship. I hope she goes home soon and your mom can get back to her life. And OP responded, "This is it. Thank you." There's an update. Hey y'all, thank you for so many responses. I never expected so many. One question I got is why my Nana isn't back in the nursing home we took her to. Sadly, the nursing home was awful. Dietary restrictions were not accommodating, that sort of stuff. We already planned on bringing her back here, but that's changed since then. Since my Nana has come, her insurance is only available in her state, and no one in our state will take it. If we knew that, we would not have taken her back in. My mom's now planning on taking her back and getting nurses and therapy in home. I spoke to my mom about this and how this makes me feel and how much I see this hurting her, and she said she doesn't care anymore. She's gotten over it many, many years ago. My Nana was a cruel and mean person, and still is. She told my mom her dad wasn't her real dad, which isn't true at 7.
Jeez.
She's had to raise herself before getting into the foster care system for a bit before going back to her dad's. She saw how parents should really be from them, and I'm thankful. My mom is nothing close to my Nana. She says it's in her nature, she can't drop her. She's become so numb to the insults that it doesn't do much. She's just tired of the complaints after hearing them all day. I asked her if Nana realizes she does this, and she said no. It just happens, and if you ask her, she would be appalled at you even asking her. My Nana is French, by the way, if that makes sense to anyone. I now just have to let this go and maybe give a snarky remark every now and then. There are some good ones in there. Thank you for all the wonderful support and advice. It's been great. I would say something, but I agree fully with what Sam said.
Yeah. Wonder how you kind of can address that when you're, you're not required to, and you're not like the person that's supposed to. Like, you're the one who's felt like the damage of the person's, decisions and stuff like that. Because I had a friend, and her dad recently died, but he was just like not in her life that much or whatever. And she had just started like building a connection with him, kind of, but it was like she really didn't like him because, he basically abandoned her. But now that he's dead, she has to deal with these emotions of like, I still wanted a connection with this person.
Yeah.
But he, while he was alive, never got that right. And I'm just like, that's just crazy. Those types of situations where like you have every right to not try and build a better relationship with that person because they messed it up in the first place. But just the fact that, your blood to them is going to affect you if they do end up leaving. It's just, ugh.
Yeah.
Like a deep part of you somewhat still longing for that relationship.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a similar situation with a family member, the same thing, where they like really don't deserve a spot in my future,
Yeah.
but they're like family. And so I know if they were to die today, I would be heartbroken.
Right.
But I don't really have a relationship with them, and they, from how they were treating me, they don't deserve, like you're saying with your friend.
Yeah.
But I do crave a healthy relationship with them, but that's not the way they are. We both need therapy, and like, it's just a matter of them not even willing to get it. Like them just, I don't know.
That's a tough one.
So anyway.
I know for older people, how getting older can bring about that fear that causes you to lash out of people, because you are losing your independence. You're losing things that you could normally do on your own. And now you're requiring other people to help you, and you need it. And that's a scary thing. And some people, in fear, they just lash out in anger, and they become different people because of them losing functions or just stopping.
Losing independence.
And so if like you're going in with that frame of reference, you're like realizing like, this is not you.
Yeah.
It sounds like this mom's different because it's like
her whole
life, like she's a bad person. But I feel like a lot of older people are like, they were great parents. It's just when they're getting older, they're like, get off me, or why are you doing blah blah blah. It's not them.
Yeah.
It's them talking out of aging.
Yeah.
Slowly dying essentially, and you're seeing your life, basically you can see the end. And talking from that, you're like, I'm afraid, I'm scared. So I'm lashing out with anger, and I'm doing it to people I love because that's the only people I can do it to. I don't think it excuses their behaviors, but it might help you see and how you take it in and hang like, oh, this is not my mom. My mom's dying, and this is
80 years old.
Yeah, she's 80 years old, and this is what's happening. Because my friend spent like the last 3 months with her grandmother. And she had good experiences, but she had some experiences where the grandma was wilding out and saying crazy things. And when she passed, finally, she was like, I'm glad I got to spend that time. It was hard. It was challenging, but I was there for her at the end. And I think there's sometimes experiences like that. You're like, oh, I hope I could do that and not, in some situations, get scared and run away from it, or say, I don't want to be around that, because you are wailing out sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yep.
So last year I had to rehome.
Interesting.
Like this next story. I didn't have one. What's the definition of rehome? Did I use it right?
Okay, so
Such a vague sentence.
Thanks for letting me have that.
Yeah. So his last story is, am I the asshole for not wanting to rehome my dog to start my new family?
Yeah.
Girl, you're not the asshole. You don't rehome that dog. I'm a dog person. But also non-dog person, what do you think?
I gotta hear the story. Because I feel like this is definitely going to be cut along animal person lines.
Am I the asshole for not wanting to rehome my dog to start my new family? I, 32 female, and my boyfriend, 31 male, have been together for 2 years and are now expecting a child. He already has a child, 4 female, who I have accepted as my own. I came to the relationship with a dog that my ex-fiance gifted me at the end of my then relationship. My dog is a 6-year-old shepherd, and I've had her since she was 8 weeks old. She's friendly, good with kids, 45 pounds, but unfortunately doesn't know her own size. She does have an anxiety issue, which is treated with crates that she loves, medication when she needs, and lots of exercise. My boyfriend won't move in with me or officially start our family, which he really wants to start because his daughter is afraid of dogs, which I think she'll get over as she learns the dog and as she grows up. For reference, I was afraid of dogs as a kid. My boyfriend is afraid the dog won't react well to kids and a newborn in the house, and because she is a larger and clumsier breed and anxious, he worries she will snap. I want to explore other options like deeper training before just getting rid of my dog, but he's adamant the dog goes before the baby comes. Other than the danger of dogs with kids, he also doesn't like the dog as a gift from my ex and says the dog reminds him of my past relationship and he would like to start fresh with me with our family. He generally isn't a dog person to begin with and didn't grow up with pets in the home, but I did, and my dog is my family. So I'm having a hard time being okay with having to rehome her without giving her a chance. He also told me he doesn't want to risk the danger of having a dog in the house with a newborn. I'm not willing to part ways with the dog or the father of my child, but my dog is my first child. Am I the asshole for not choosing?
No. Well, for
that
not,
sentence.
is she the asshole for not choosing? No, that's a hard decision. You got to think about that. You got to sit and think about that.
I do feel like I like her question at the end of like, why does it have to be a choice? Like,
Right,
I
yeah.
feel like she's not the one creating it a problem. It's the boyfriend.
Yeah.
But from the sounds of it, I think she said they're expecting a child. So they are creating a family together. So that's a little bit of an issue though.
Yeah, I didn't like when he said he's waiting to start the family. The family's coming, but she's pregnant.
It's already here.
It's
Right.
happening. You don't get a choice.
And he
when
already
you
has a
start.
kid, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The family's
So?
not starting. It's already here, bud.
Right.
Also, with the way that she sees the dog as family, and he talks about how he doesn't want that dog to come into their new family. I know a baby is an equivalent to a dog,
Yeah,
but if
that's
she
the-
sees it that way, and he's already coming in with a baby too, and she's not asking him to be like, hey, let's start fresh with a baby that's both her own. It's like, no, we're coming in together with who we have and what we have.
Yeah.
Stop trying to change me and what I'm bringing into this relationship.
That's where I don't agree because I still can't agree with. Well, that dog's my first baby because they're not equivalent. Like him,
They're not
him
equivalent, but
bringing
they're
his
so
kid-
important that it's like this is like something that I care about so deeply. Obviously, I think if and when I have a baby, I'm going to care about that baby more than I care about an animal. But I still care about this animal
Yeah,
very well,
yeah.
so much that I'm not going to give this animal away because you want me to give the animal away.
Yeah. And I feel like,
even if he brings up valid concerns,
yeah.
even if he's like, I'm afraid what this clumsy dog will do to a baby.
Yeah.
Well, I think her next statement, though, is fair to be like, okay, well, let's train my dog.
Right. Yeah.
And
That's what I
she
was about
goes
to
on
say.
to say in the update, let's work with your daughter who is fearful of dogs. Like, let's see if there are next steps before it's immediately, let's get rid of the kid or the dog.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Slip up
See,
there.
you're already trying to get rid of the kid. You're like, hey, how about we keep the dog and the kid goes, right?
Oh.
I think we don't need the
Nah, it
kid.
was a slip up. It was a slip up.
That was a
Freudian slip.
Dog person.
So really,
I think my two biggest things are, I mean, yeah, you can still. I'm split between the middle. It's
You
not.
see both sides.
Yeah, I see both sides. I got you.
like Chanel.
I see.
See both sides like
Like
Chanel.
This is not a matter of am I the a-hole, but it's just I feel like this would have been better in relationship advice because it's one of those things that it's to each their own. However you deal with it, it's a hard decision. It doesn't necessarily make you an a-hole,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's just based on you and your relationship. So I don't think anyone can really be an a-hole in this scenario just because it's just people's preferences.
Different perspectives.
Yeah, it's and
I
different
love how
perspectives.
mature y'all are. Like, what? I'm just sitting back here enjoying these good, healthy conversations because we growing as human beings. Oh my god,
we're growing up.
Love y'all, man.
Love you
Love
too.
you too, Josh.
It's funny because I actually agree with you so much.
Yeah.
Because there is a creator that I was watching the other day that I used to watch so much when I was younger. And I used to look up to him so much and like highly value his opinion.
Yeah.
And he was basically getting critiqued and he was watching a video reacting to him getting critiqued. And he was like going towards like just immediately like insulting the person and like not taking the argument that she's saying, making fun of how she's speaking.
Yeah.
It's just like all these like immature things of being so defensive and not even taking for what she's saying.
Right. Yeah.
Just immediately like critiquing every little thing except for what she's saying.
Right.
And it was kind of surprising because I'm like, wow, like I used to really look up to this guy and I used to really love watching this guy. And it just reminded me of like the stuff that we talk about on the podcast. We never really talk about people's appearance or little petty things. We're trying to talk about the actual issues.
Right.
I mean, we do get caught up on some stuff sometimes and we're like, we're away from the main point.
Yeah.
I understand that we do that.
Yeah.
But that's just sometimes where the conversation goes and we don't get back to it. And that's on us. But usually we're not doing that. And it was just, it is kind of interesting as you get older and you're like, I can't believe I used to listen to you because you haven't changed much.
Well, that's my real issue is like you want to see growth in like the things you're watching. A lot of things you watch as kids, if you don't see that growth, you're like, oh, I do get turned
I need to
off
move
by it.
on.
Like,
Right,
That's
yeah.
what Shameless is. You're like, why aren't these characters learning? Why isn't season 5 they're still making the same decisions?
Dang.
And it's very frustrating to watch.
How did Frank get to Canada?
You watch Shameless too?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still one I need to watch too.
It was my
Okay.
first.
I'm not looking forward to the fact that you guys are saying they don't grow that much.
It was like
Right,
one of my
yeah.
first Netflix shows I actually binge watched.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that why it's frustrating because it does mirror real life for some people. Like I definitely know people who are
Cyclical.
yes, and they do not grow. They're literally having awful decisions. They make awful decisions that have really bad consequences on themselves.
Man.
Years later, they will make a similar thing. And you're like, I'll forgive you for what you did in the past, but you're going to do the same thing, not learning of what that happened. And that's frustrating to see in real life with a friend or a family member making the same decisions. And that's what Shameless is. It's like highlighting those people who actually live in a really bad situation. So it's like almost the environment
To breathe,
creates
yeah.
what's happening, but it's still frustrating to watch. You're like, I need for you guys to get out. I need you to do something different.
Yeah.
Oh wait, okay. So back to I was gonna make another point before I forget.
Yeah.
Because
I guess for OP, the only thing I would maybe ask is if he's right. If something bad happens, not wishing any ill intent, not wishing any of that. I hope your baby grows and flourishes and loves world and loves life. But if there's an accident where the dog gets overstimulated and does something, what happens then?
Right.
You have to have a plan for it because he already. If you guys are able to agree on keeping the dog, he already doesn't want to do it. All he needs is one reason to send that dog somewhere else.
paw to the face.
But I feel like also in that scenario, there's preventative measures that can be taken on his end. Like if he knows they're keeping the dog on both of their ends, really.
Yeah.
But like, okay, we know we have to, probably keep him in like a little cage for a little bit while the baby walks around.
I thought you were going to say the baby.
Oh,
The
no,
baby in
no,
the
no.
cage while the dog walks.
Dog's like walking around the cage like,
Couldn't be me, baby. Couldn't
Right.
be me. The baby's like, help me.
But yeah, just taking certain measures to make sure that the house is safe for the baby and the dog if you know they're going to be co-living together,
And then I guess my other question would have been if the 4-year-old doesn't adjust to the dog, what happens then?
Yeah.
Because you can't push past a kid's fear.
Right. Yeah.
Can you? No.
something.
I mean, you can. It'd probably be abuse, but like,
Well, I feel like, I don't know. what abuse is now. I feel like
versus
it's
like back
different
in the
when I
day.
was a kid.
Okay,
and I
yeah.
think for better or for worse. I think there were some things when I was a kid that was definitely abuse that we did not call abuse that it's rightfully called now.
Okay,
but
yeah.
sometimes we go too far. We're like, any discomfort that a kid has is abuse. And I'm like, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
If the dog's biting your face, that's crazy. And yes, you should not want that. But a dog bumping into you and you like feeling pushed and you're a little scared because another creature did that. I don't know. Is that abuse?
No.
No.
Yeah. What I wanted to point out was if you can have a real conversation with your boyfriend and be like, how much of you not wanting a dog has to do with my ex? Is the ex, because it seems like
I thought that was
you're like
be first.
you kind of tacked it on, or like, hey, like I'm scared for the baby, but also your ex got it. Is this you coming up with a reason like I don't want any memories of your ex? And I want the boyfriend to be honest with that. Like, am I saying this because I don't want memories of your ex, or if I'm saying this for the betterment of my kid?
Right. Yeah.
Because I could just like, I don't want the ex thing around, and then I add a thing like, oh yeah, it could also hurt our kid too.
Right.
And that's why you're like,
Yeah.
maybe that's why he's not responding to the training. Like, we could deeply train him. Like, we could train it, but it's still your boyfriend.
Right. Yeah. That could be
I
the
want
underlying problem.
Boyfriend to like have a real conversation. Like, are you really concerned about like, even if we train, that's still a problem?
Yeah.
Or you really don't want memories of our ex? Because I don't know if that's the thing.
Yeah. That's a good conversation to have.
Yeah. So she adds a few edits here. A lot of you are commenting saying my dog is not trained, which is untrue. She is trained. She's trained very well and listens well. She just hasn't lived with kids before and has anxiety. I'm not a bad dog owner or short-sighted at all. I completely understand the dangers of dogs and kids, and I've had dogs my whole life. And then she also says, I won't be dumping my boyfriend and making myself a single mother. She also mentions how the subreddit was really rude to her.
Is this one ours?
Yeah.
Oh no.
These are all on ours.
No. We won't stand for that.
Come on. Let them know.
People must not reported it because I didn't see any.
Update, a lot of you are extremely cruel. Nowhere in my original post did I say I was rehoming my dog. I actually said I was unwilling to. We have decided to take the 4-year-old to therapy and have her go to a training center with a dog. When the baby is born, we will keep the dog with my brother for a month and then slowly integrate her with the newborn to see how the dog does.
Oh, there you go.
But there's some crazies. I'm going to read this. I don't know if I'm including the thing, but she says, but I do want to say, how dare people suggest I abort my child and tell me I'm going to be a terrible mom and that I'm a terrible dog mom or person. You literally only know a part of one situation of my entire 32 years of life. And no, I'm not marrying him due to the fact that I don't want to be married, which is okay. So shut the fuck up on that front too. I'm truly disappointed by this community, as I thought, because I'm an avid listener to the pod and know how reasonable the hosts are, that this was a safe space. So
Reddit probably deleted them because I don't see any of those.
Huh.
Because I don't remember this story.
Dang.
That's crazy.
This is like a prime example of how the internet can get a chunk of something
Yeah.
and
No character development.
yeah, and then they just deep dive into the specifics of, what you gave them. But also, if you don't tell like a full story, which you probably can't without them actually being
impossible.
somebody in your
Yeah.
life, then it's just like, people jump to conclusions, will have you saying stuff and having you believe in stuff that's like not true, have you feeling a certain type of way and stuff. I feel like this is one of those circumstances of where people took a chunk of something, it wasn't even the whole situation, and just ran with a certain side of it to where it was just like it got so far away from what may actually be happening that it can hurt the person who tried to share. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're posting something on the podcast, or if you're posting something on the Reddit and you're leaving a comment, try and be respectful to people.
Yes.
And I don't know if the people who were saying to abort the baby thought it was a good idea, but
Right. And report
obviously,
those, because I am on the subreddit.
Yeah, report
and I'm
comments.
deleting things. If they're one of our number one rule, be respectful, be kind. If you're not being kind, if you're just attacking OP, I'm
Right.
deleting the comments. So just know, report them. We'll get them out of here.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we don't like that.
We don't want
want
that.
We don't want any of that.
Yeah.
That feels like one of those like substitute teacher messages. Like when you're like being bad at a class and it's like the substitute's like wrote a bad letter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I literally feel what they feel now. I was like, oh wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you never know how people are going to react to something you say too.
Right.
What if this was really like on their heart heavy and then you say something like that and who knows what they can do to react to it afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, top comments. He's the asshole for not seeing how much your dog means to you. It's all about him. I just realized you haven't lived together. I'm sure this won't be the only thing he expects you to bend on. You're carrying his baby. He should be doing his best to not put pressure on you or ultimatums on you. And then somebody else said, everyone sucks here for letting the relationship get this far without addressing this in a real way. I'm guessing you both just assumed you could change the other person's mind. And then somebody else said, thank you, I had to scroll down for this. Everyone sucks here. Forget the boyfriend's views for just a moment and think about the little child. How did either of them think the issue was going to resolve itself? The dog doesn't know his size. What does that actually mean in relation to his 4-year-old? So, yeah, I think most of the comments that I did see were people being very upset for whatever reason. But I do think the solution that they did come to
Yeah.
was a
that's
good solution.
I like that solution.
I do have to
sure.
say, though, when I read the comment of the everybody sucks here of like, how did this not get discussed before, you guys decided to continue your relationship knowing that you were going to be with him and he had a child who wasn't, I don't know. I mean, I guess I just don't know how it progressed, but
Yeah.
maybe it was like a bigger issue that was just lying in the background waiting to be eventually picked up and
I think
talked
that's how
about.
like a lot of relationships are. We're like, we're just not going to talk about it until it becomes forced upon us.
True.
Shoot.
'Cause sometimes it's uncomfortable to have those conversations because you're on opposite sides. So it's uncomfortable to have that conflict. Some people just don't like the conflict that comes with it.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
As a person who's afraid of conflict.
I know firsthand.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty.
So, so this story, you need to hear it
Yeah.
for the most part.
Okay.
So I might be able to turn it up. We take our headphones off
Okay.
and watch it, but it's a pastor in a church and yeah.
Before we
I
go
saw
any
the
further,
aftermath of this.
Sister Miles' daughter want to approach the church at this time in Jesus' name. Come on, Sister Miles.
Praise the Lord, saints.
Stand right in front of the congregation. Yeah, right in front of you. Don't touch that table.
I want to apologize to everybody in here because I am pregnant. I'm sorry, y'all. And I just hope that y'all all forgive me and keep on praying for me.
Pastor says a few more things after.
They say, I assume should you repent, then you never wait later to repent. If you sin, you don't wait no 2, 3. You don't wait till the baby come to repent. You repent now. You just don't do it again. But you got to repent. I don't care how you look at it. You already know. You already know what time it is.
You already know what time it is.
Told her. It's not what you think it is. But the church praying for you. We ain't gonna condone your sin now. We ain't gonna do that. Ain't no baby showers going on.
No baby showers.
That's what you lose out
what?
on. You have a baby out of wedlock, ain't no baby showers. And nobody at the church got to attend one. Mama shouldn't have one neither. You gotta take care of your granddaughter. But you can't condone sin. You don't have no private baby shower. You can't have no baby shower. You lose all the pride and glory. You lose all that. You just lose all that. Thank God that God didn't take you out of here.
What?
I'm not.
See, look, God got him right there.
God better strike this dude down. Oh my.
He almost took you up out of there.
Oh my
Alrighty,
gosh.
guys.
Man.
So what are your thoughts about that?
He needed to get jumped.
Yeah,
He needed to get jumped.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like recently, like when we went on the cruise and we went to a comedy show, and like I was saying that like the comedians can kind of get off certain jokes that are like disrespect just because of the setting. I'm like, I feel like this is kind of one of those moments where because of the setting, they can get off blatant disrespect because, you know, they're a person in power or somebody you're supposed to listen to or a leader. But yeah, that's not okay at all. And I saw like a video that was like backlash. It was somebody who like came to this church.
I saw that one too.
Yeah, and
That
was
the
like
first one
calling
I
them
saw.
out. Rightfully so, because this is crazy. Like, okay, if this is supposed to be your church family and they're literally saying no baby showers, like you're lucky God didn't take you out of here. I'm glad he choked at the end. Matter of fact, I ain't even gonna go in there. I ain't gonna say all that. I ain't gonna say all that. I'm a chill. But yeah, now that pisses me off so much because she's young. She just got pregnant. She's gonna need so much support. And for it to basically be the opposite, and now she's still gonna have to care for this baby, but now she's feeling like this weight that you put on her. It's just
Yeah. So to recap a little bit of what happened, if you couldn't hear it, but we're gonna play the video, is this pastor made a younger girl in his congregation come up and like say her sin that she did out loud, which she got pregnant out of wedlock, and made her like apologize to the whole congregation, putting this girl's business out there. And then continuing, once she got down, continuing to talk about her and continuing to shame her before this man got to his freaking sermon or whatever. And I saw that and I was just like, yeah, I was really disgusted. And there were some comments that I agreed with of like, okay, who else in that congregation are you making stand up and say out loud what sins that they've done? And like you said, I'll probably share that other guy's video that he did, because he also was like, once he got kicked out, he was like asking all the men, he was like, did he make you stand up in the church and say what you did?
Right.
Are we all not sinners? And yet she's the only one that has to come up here and say that.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that was just really disgusting work. Really disgusting work.
Yeah. The devil's work.
Yeah.
Like you in God's house.
True.
And you're literally doing the devil's work. Cause like, yeah, people, you know, they make mistakes, this and third, whatever, which I don't even think that's necessarily a mistake. It was a decision and she has to deal with the consequences of her decision.
But then you're going to embarrass her.
Right.
She's a teenager and you're going to put her up in front of everybody and embarrass her.
And have
because
further shame.
That's a decision that she's made.
Yep.
And she got pregnant. And so now she's got to figure out what steps she's going to take going forward. Is she going to keep the baby? What's going to happen? And instead of having support, which is what church has always been for a lot of people, you have these people shaming you when you already feel that in yourself, because you know that you technically like did a sin against God, against this religion that you're in.
Yeah.
And now you have the people who are supposed to be supporting you also shaming you. When like, doesn't also the Bible talk about how like you shouldn't judge others and just like making this girl an example? I was like, what are you doing?
So stupid.
Yeah.
This is wrong.
It's people like those that give like
Church a
life,
bad name.
Yeah, church life a bad name. Seeing those clips, I would understand when someone in the comments was like, I left church because of things like this. Because it makes sense.
Right.
No one's going to sit there and take that disrespect. And like some pastors have like this kind of what the internet does in a sense. What was the video? It was talking about how people don't give people time to do their character development. And they judge immediately, they prosecute immediately, and don't give you any chance to really see through your situation. And the pastor is a prime example You could have been a pastor in that moment.
Mm.
Hey, this happened. We're not going to tell everybody. You
Right.
tell the people you're comfortable with.
Yeah.
We'll go from there. Have your baby shower.
Yeah.
Of course. It's not the way you wanted it to be, but we got to see it play out. You have a new life now. You have a new life, and you're raising a new life. You need all the support you should get.
Right.
And that's the other thing too, is like, I really don't appreciate this whole like community punishing. Like, that's my daughter.
Right.
I will deal with her accordingly to what I think needs to be done.
Yeah.
Also, you, pastor, are not going to choose to bring, I know obviously the mom had to have agreed to this, but to bring, like you're saying, bringing up my daughter and making her be embarrassed and full of shame and sharing this personal thing, I could never imagine. Oh man, it just makes me sick to my stomach. I could never imagine a church that does that, because I know at the church that we all go to, they have people where if you want to share things with people,
Right. Yeah.
confidentially, you can do that. But they don't once you share something, they don't say, so you're gonna have to put that, you're gonna have to say that in front of everybody
Right.
on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Well,
And if you don't say anything, pastor's gonna say something. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Insane.
I think there's what's interesting to me, because I know church, like there's a church like this in Omaha my aunt used to go to that they do things like this. He's like saying sermons about people in the congregation. Everybody knows. And it does have a kind of cult like feel where he's the word and what they say goes. And that's these videos where it's like blatant. You're like, dang, that's crazy. But there are also minor things, because there's things that like even our church, and maybe I don't notice them as much anymore, but I definitely remember this as a child when people were getting pregnant, teenagers were getting pregnant, and they weren't going up in the thing like shame them, but there was an air of how people treated these girls after they got pregnant that was not the same before they got pregnant. And that's the same thing where you're like, I feel this community is turning against me, and I feel this inner shame.
Dang.
I feel like it's the same thing with even like with gay people, where they're like, this community is important to me, because I think the still reason why I still go to church is I do believe in God, but I do think the community that the church has is a very important thing that's hard to get in other parts of life. It's hard to find what church gives you just somewhere else. It's more and more difficult.
Yeah.
But the double-edged sword of the side is that community can also hurt you so deeply. You needing that community and you wanting to be good in the eyes of the community, you start subjecting yourself to rules. You start contorting yourself so you feel accepted by that community, which can hurt you.
Yeah.
And I feel like even our church, which I wouldn't say it's we're not demonic, we're not constantly shaming people, but there is things about, wait, you did that?
Right.
I can't believe she did that. I can't believe he's like that. And that still has the same effect. Not as deep as that, but it has the same thing.
For sure.
And it's like, why would people want to come to that?
Yeah.
You can have the benefits of community, but if that's what I have to get with it, why would I want to come to church?
Yeah. You have to watch that. Like, you got to be a good steward of how you're handling those situations. Just because if you're even a little bit on a certain side of like, I don't know, just being too judgmental, like may not mean a lot to you, but like to that person, you know, that could mean the whole world, especially if you're a person that's close to that person in their life, you know?
God is love. That's the end
Right,
of the thing.
yeah,
Like, we should be
yeah.
loving. It's not my job to be judging anyone.
For sure.
I'm not going to judge them. Like, I want to love you and not have you feel shame. And it really makes me think of these 4 agreements, because they're saying like all these agreements we have constantly of people putting things on us. If you have your entire community saying you're this because you did this constantly, and that's just going to get in your mind. You're like, dang, I'm this. I'm a sinner. I'm like, I'm a slut. I'm this because I made this decision in my life. That not only affects you, now that's affecting your child, because now you're seeing your child through that lens of, you're a mistake. I shouldn't have never done this.
Man.
I could treat you differently. I could have resentment towards you because all these bad things are because of you now. I feel this because of you. And that's going to feed into the kid. It's just a cycle. That's how these generational cycles come, is because I felt this thing and I pass it on to the next thing.
And I think that
It's the moments like that just fuel the fire.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't help anything. That shame is going to stay with her for a long time.
And the way that she thinks about church will now forever be stained by that interaction.
God is shame to me now.
Yes.
Because I just did that.
Yeah.
And I felt that level of shame at an altar at a church.
Yep. And everyone was co-signing, and no one was like, hey, why are you doing? No one said like, hey, this is crazy.
Why are we doing this?
We're all agreeing with it by just sitting here silently watching this.
And that's what I'm saying. It's the tough part about, the church environment, certain environments to where it's not normal for somebody to speak up, because then in those times where people should, they probably won't, because they got conditioned to just sit and to just listen.
1,000%.
And it's like, dang.
Even in places where they're like, yeah, you can say something, you could speak up. It's just the fact that
we're just saying that. I don't know.
Right.
But I do think, like you're saying, there are people that are being conditioned to be silent. I think that's a majority of people. I think if you are, depending on how you're raised or maybe just your personality in general, sticking up and standing up for people is so hard to do. And you learn through life experiences, or like I said, maybe it's just your personality, but most people don't say anything. Like I would say a majority of the time, I'm a person who doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Especially when it's towards myself.
That's why he's out here trying to.
Exactly, because they're like, oh my God, if I knew John was here, I might have changed, but I probably wouldn't have, right? I'm just watching and being like, that's crazy, because of the bystander effect.
Yeah.
Somebody else is going to do something.
Yeah. I just hate it. That's the stuff I hate about church. I agree. I get pissed off when I see stuff like that. And it's like, how do you advocate for church?
Right.
When there are examples like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
And even like you're saying, the examples that we have were like, yeah, they're not perfect. They're people. They're not perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
because I feel like younger generations are more apt to like see the things and be like, nah. They'll come in, they see one example where they're like, nope, I'm done. And I'm like, I'm a church kid, so I'm like, well, that's just like, I feel like anytime I brought someone, I'm like, well, there's this, and you just kind of like gotta power through that. And they're like, why would I power through that? Why would I just sit through that? And I'm like, there's a lot of good things. Like I've learned this and this and this from church. And they're like, yeah, but I don't like that. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's right. I can't say anything to that.
Man.
Just gotta let them walk.
And I feel like that's one thing certain communities outside of the church do well, is like a truly judgment-free zone. Like, I don't know. I remember I was talking to somebody a while back, and we ended up going to what was it, like a gay bar or something like that, and they was just vibing. Like there was just like a spirit of freedom. Now they can do whatever they want with it, you know what I mean? But like
I don't know if it's judgment free. I went to like a drag show and they're like, you wearing that in here? I'm like, I'm just with clothes. They're like, I'm like, so we don't judge anybody except me.
They may judge straight people. Most likely they'll probably judge straight people.
They be judging straight people. I'm like, I'm just trying to have fun. They're like, I wouldn't wear those pants. I'm like,
because they know how to weed people out. Like, you're not supposed to be here. But as far as like the people that are in the community, like, I don't know. I don't think I've experienced anything like it. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's nice. It's cool. Just knowing that, like, I don't know. Like, just having it's like you feel a weight come off of you a little bit of like, okay, societal standards, church standards, this and third, whatever. It was just like, you can just be. I feel like that's like a key to my life. Like, I just want to be. Now I want to be a good Samaritan. You know what I mean? I got morals. I got a code I live by. But at the same time, you know, to be how God created me and to enjoy everything that he has for me. You know what I mean? I just want to be.
Yeah. The one thing I don't understand is how, like, okay, so in this example of this older man judging this younger woman who got pregnant, how do like older people forget that they were young once and they made mistakes and that they were also in a position to be judged?
It's the same cycle. I promise you, they were shamed when they were kids, so they get this opportunity. Not this opportunity like they're like looking for it, but it's like
subliminally. Yeah,
it's like, I was shamed, so I need to like I have to put this on others. People have to live under the same thing that I have. I don't think they're doing it consciously. It's like, I've been put under this oppressive regime, and so the next person, I'm going to put it on them as well, because it's just a cycle that keeps perpetuating itself.
I get that.
I say it's pride, because pride's a killer.
Yeah,
it hurts. Pride is a hurtful thing to have. Not saying be selfless all the time. There is a level of pride that you can have, but when you're like, I'm holier than thou, I'm better than you, and you don't, that goes unchecked for so long, it's easy for you to judge somebody. For a subscribe a day, you can help this struggling editor. Well, I'm not struggling. I'm probably going to have a lot of fun doing this. If you just hit that like and subscribe, and you'll see all those cuts, all that work I put into it. I had scissors probably. So like and subscribe, and you know what? Do something extra. Say something nice under someone else's comment. Say hello to them. Meet a new friend. Thank you.
Fly away. In the arms of the angel.
Thanks everybody for coming to Comfort Level Podcast. Help editor Brandon. Thanks to Maddie. Thanks to my brother Josh for a good episode.
We hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.